Oh, well, I see. You are just talented. Well, when you have a talent, everything will work out. But me, I don't have a talent, so what can I do? You or they have a talent. This is the way of devaluation. The first point. There is a popular myth, as it's easy to think in this direction, that there are natural, innate qualities of a person that allow him to achieve success much easier. What does it imply actually? Well, it's convenient to believe in this myth, but what for? Maybe to justify yourself and to devalue the successes of others, to justify yourself in the fact that you have no success because you just didn't reveal your talent, or you're just not talented. Well, it's clear he has a success because he has a talent. It is convenient to believe in this myth, to devalue the success of others. He has a talent and me, I just don't have any talent, I'm sorry. Something like that. The word itself, talent, it divides people into two large categories. There are talented, there's not much of them, of course, and there are those who won't succeed. Never gonna succeed. But in fact, let's take a deeper look. A person devotes thousands of hours to acquiring skills, and his work called a talent. What for? Why would someone say that? My thing is to drive this thought away from about these thousands of hours. For example, if I see another person who has achieved some success, then it will be unpleasant for me to think that this is due to the enormous work. It's much easier to think that, oh well, it's just a talent. But only one factor distinguishes the talented from the non-talented. This is the intensity and duration of study and practice. A person, in many ways, is generally a combination of habits. And there's no secrets or shortcuts, and there are no such genes that are responsible for a certain talent. Of course, we're not talking about the genetic predisposition in professional sport. Here we are talking about real life and about how to acquire such skills and knowledge that will allow you to live normally, at least normally. There is no connection between the intellect and the quality of the work done. It happens very often that a smart person, very smart person, cannot do anything. And vice versa, a person with super low intelligence creates masterpieces. How? With hard work. Therefore, there is a trap here. Well, of course, talented, smart person can handle it. And what am I supposed to do? Well, how am I supposed to try? I didn't even study well at school. And again, the faster a person throws away a myth about a certain mythical talent, the easier it will be for him to live, being face to face with the fact that any results are a consequence of hard work. Any results are achievable. It is important. The one who does more, trains, practices more, always wins. And also the presence of supportive environment is something really important. Something like, you're doing really great. How did you do it? I'm glad to learn from you. But if you achieve results in anything and regularly hear in your address something like, oh, it's just a talent, there's no way you're gonna fail, then in this case you may find yourself in a situation when you really stopped to succeed in anything. Because there is a trap. Having mastered the skill at a sufficient level, a person no longer requires the need to move on. There's one phenomena in human life. Something we practice is gonna evolve. Something we don't practice gonna disappear. We're gonna forget. Whether it's language or playing a musical instrument, whatever it is. And at the same time, the quantity turns into equality. Many are convinced that if they have no talent, then they have no chance. But nothing is permanent, and changes is something really inevitable. Our brains are remarkably plastic, but at the same time, they strive for the usual position of things. That is, on one hand, there is a desire to do the usual because the person already knows how to do it, how to operate. But on the other hand, it's important to make an effort to master new things. Try to allow yourself not to be afraid of mistakes while practicing. Mistakes is a part of a process. Mistakes are normal. It will never work perfectly right away. If I call the success of another person just a talent, this is the way to prevent my own growth. There is no such a thing as a talent. There is a hard work behind the person. He's a regular, systematic work. So first of all, I teach myself that I stop devaluating the successes of others by their talent. When I hear conversations about talent in my address, I can process it mentally and I can understand. When a person calls my results a result of a certain talent, just a talent, I realize that he thus justifies himself. First of all, he thinks he's communicating with me, but in fact he justifies himself. While for an ordinary person, words about talent look like a compliment. But if you look closer, these are not the kindest words. They just devalue your huge work, experience, and effort. So it's not about talent.